Good afternoon. We start our panel now. I'll start with an introduction into the topic, which is loneliness of leaders and how we can fight it. According to a recent Harvard Business Publishing Corporate Learning study, more than 70% of new CEOs express loneliness. The feelings of loneliness at the top often arise from the inability to share personal struggles with others in the organization, a sense of being misunderstood or disconnected, a reluctance to trust others fully out of fear of being vulnerable, limited opportunities to foster genuine relationship due to overwhelming workloads, and uncertainty regarding the motivation of others. The loneliness can contribute to increased stress levels, resulting in emotional burnout, feelings of sadness or depression, a disconnection from family, friends, or trusted confidants, inability to share professional burdens leading to emotional isolation, and a lack of meaningful personal connections. Managing the leader's loneliness can be dealt with by building a support network of mentors, coaches, trusted peers, or past colleagues, work with a therapist. Secondly, by fostering open communications, which encourage your team members to communicate their ideas, concerns, and criticism freely. Third, by engaging in mentorship program, allowing you to learn and teach at the same time. Fourth, by seeking professional development, attending workshops, conferences, and seminars. 5, by encouraging feedback. Encourage your team members to take responsibility and contribute to common goals. 6, cultivate sense of purpose, which helps you understand your role, keeps you grounded, focused, and connected to what's truly important. 7, delegate and empower your team. Sharing duties with your team reduces your workload and affords them the opportunity to step up and flourish. 8, by participating in team activities, whether it is group lunch or a volunteer event or a team building session. 9, practicing mindfulness and self-care to reduce stress, improve mental clarity, and replenish energy. And finally, by leveraging technology. Leaders can utilize technology to their advantage in dealing with struggles of leadership. Collaboration platforms, communication channels, and virtual meeting software have made it easier than ever to stay connected with teams and peers. There are now platforms which are making use of artificial intelligence by making recognition easy with digital gift cards, by customized branding, curated gifts, convenience choice, and providing wellness programs and personalized recognition programs. Such platforms exist now. To start our session, I would like to invite first Dr. Yvette Rose, psychologist, PhD, meta-psychology coaching. Dr. Yvette is a holistic counselor with an MBA and PhD, an author of 19 books, a leading figure in psychosomatics, which is the study of how emotions impact our health and body, and on trauma recovery. Her bestseller book is Metaphysical Anatomy, and her books have reached over 80 countries. Dr. Yvette will bring a psychologist perspective and show us her own lived experience. Please, Dr. Yvette, you have the floor.
Thank you so much, Dr. Faris, for that. Thank you, everyone, also for being here. I'm going to share, this is a psychological perspective, but actually I'm going to decode a little bit my own and my own relationship with loneliness, having been in business for almost 17 years. Just before I was 29, I actually had a stress-induced heart attack from just working so much, stress, never taking a break. And that actually happened just around the time when I hit the $1 million mark in my company. I was living my best life, and what I didn't realize at the time was this eustress that I was so addicted to, ticking the boxes, getting excited. I didn't realize how much that masked a lot of underlying factors that I had. One being overly independent, refusing to ask for support, refusing to ask for help. For me, in my opinion, if you're a business owner, it's weak to ask for help. You should be able to do everything. And this came from a very powerful programming, which was quite negative from my father. Everything must be suffered for. You have to earn it. Nothing is just handed to you. And let me tell you, I worked hard and I earned every single penny and asset that I had. But I also nearly paid for my life with it. And I wouldn't recommend this for everyone else, but this worked for me. When that happened, when I realized that my life nearly ended, and I'm sitting with things in my life that other people would have loved and enjoyed and used, I decided that my focus is not on the right place. And I walked away from everything. I started over in Bali, in the backyard of a Balinese family, and what I realized, the reason why that also happened to me, one of the core underlying factors was I had a very unhealthy relationship with support. I refused to be supported. It made me feel weak, it made me feel vulnerable, it made me feel controlled, and it made me feel obligated. And I was rebelling against every single element of that. And when everything in my life, and also a significant relationship failing at the time, I found myself in a place where I couldn't get my life back together. I thought I could. I've built an empire. I could do it again. But what I didn't realize was the exhaustion that I was feeling. And I refused to lose face. I didn't want to reach out for support or help. I didn't want people to see how much I was struggling, because it's my job to help people who are struggling. And here I am, falling apart. And long story short, I was invited by a friend to go to an ecstatic dance workshop, and I'm thinking, who dances to music to heal? Like, what is this stuff? Like, who does that? And I went, and funnily enough, the teacher found out what my story was. And he said, you have an issue with support. And I said, well, I don't need it. I got this. I can do this by myself. And he got 30 people to stand up, and they formed a triangle behind me, every person with their hands on their shoulders. And I was at the very front end of it, and he was standing behind me, and he said, fall back. And I said, for what? You're going to learn to trust, and you're going to allow yourself to be supported. And I'm thinking, what is this? And I did it. And the moment I did that, to this day, I can't explain it, but something in me, in a good way, broke. And it was an ugly cry, but it was a deep healing release of finally surrendering and feeling safe doing so. I never learned how to feel safe with being supported. I always thought there has to be an exchange. And that's where I had to learn and understand that being a business owner comes with learning to understand how to have a healthy relationship with being supported, but having healthy boundaries at the same time and having the self-worth to express those boundaries as well. And with this newfound healed foundation, I started my second business, Metaphysical Anatomy. And 3 months later, I was back on stage teaching and speaking with a whole new mindset and a whole new approach, and I welcome support now. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Edith. Second, we have Dr. Venkataramani Manan Chakrapani. He is the founder director of Razor Sharp HR and Consulting. He has a PhD in management with 30 plus years of global experience and founder of global experience. During his corporate years, he was associated with world-class organizations like Lewis and Landmark and helped them with world-class HR practices. Dr. Venkat, as you have helped many promoters across the globe to address this challenge of loneliness in leadership, we'll be happy to hear from you few real-time examples which will help the audience to understand practically how to manage the challenges. Can you share a few examples of your real-time?
Thank you, Dr. Faras. And with your permission, I'm just standing and speaking because this is my style, and I'm also starting my timer. Okay, so 5 minutes is given to me, so I will follow the timing as well. So, how many of you here are first-time founders? Please raise your hand. First generation. Okay, so first generation founders. Okay, so around 30%. Second generation founders. So taken over the company from your predecessors. Okay, very less. Third generation founders. So the balance are not founders or to be founders, right? Okay, good. So that's good that you guys are already here. So as Dr. Faras mentioned, I help organizations. I'm a coach, I'm a consultant. I help organizations, I help the promoters to address this particular challenge, okay, the loneliness. Now, when the introducer introduced about this topic, there was one person who vehemently shook his hand and head saying that, yes, I have this problem. So I face this loneliness. Who is that person? Who is that person? So somebody was there who said, yes, I have this problem. Okay, you, right. So most of the founders will have this issue, and as a consultant, how I have approached. So I'm going to give a practical example of how I have treated this particular issue. My clients are mostly in Africa and in India, very, very less in Middle East, and these are all first generation and second generation, just to give you a perspective. So these are all examples, so it doesn't mean that this will fit you, but I'm just want to trigger a thought process in you that these are all the various ways by which we can address. And the one solution which fits one organization will not fit the another organization as well. So I need to study the psychology of the organization, the promoter himself, what is his personality style. Okay, so I conduct a Thomas profiling first of the promoter, because I need to know who he is, because what he says may be true, may not be true, but Thomas profiling type of test actually tells what this person is. So that's the first step. So founders need to know who they are really. There are plenty of tools available, so I'm not promoting Thomas profiling here, no connections, okay. So there are plenty of tools like this. Please use that first and then find out what is your personality. The second most important thing is, if you have another promoter, co-promoters, 2-3 people, brothers, okay, so and other friends together, find out the personality of everyone and try to see where it matches, where it doesn't matches. Okay, so this is the first step. Next is what the personality you want for the organization. So there is a personality type for an organization as well. So try to figure that out. Okay, so create a perfect personality style for the organization and compare it with yours. When all that is done, then we will approach this loneliness issues. Okay, so the loneliness doesn't exist only because you don't have a team. It also exists because there is nobody above you to guide you. Okay, every king had one person as an advisor. Okay, and every prime minister today has an advisor, secret advisor. Every president has an advisor. So please fix a board director who is above you, 2, 3, 4, 5 directors above you, who is much famous and he knows the subject, okay, from your field. Keep him and then voice your views to him and take the views from him. So that's the first step. Next step, have a team. If you don't have a team below you, okay, the right type of team, it's definitely, you will always say that, oh, everything I have to do. That's because you don't have a team. You have not created the team. And while creating the team, please match the competency profiles of yours, organizations, and see whether that person will culturally fit in to your organization's culture. So this is how we suggest to the founders, and we say that you are lonely because you don't follow these steps. Okay, I don't have that much budget to create a team. Okay, so second line I cannot create. I cannot have a CEO, COO, CFO, CXO, CHRO, CIO, CTO. I cannot. So then try to hire a consultant. Okay, a consultant who has already done this work in this field, okay, in your geographical area. Find out that person and have a consultant. The consultant is not the board of director. The board of director is somebody above you. The consultant is a consultant equivalent to you or below to you. So these type of suggestions really helps the organizations to create a setup so that it will eliminate the loneliness for the founders and directors. So there is a book called The Founder's Mentality. I think it is written by James and Clark. So please read that book. That's a very, very informative book. All the founders have to read that. And so that will give you more insights on how you can eliminate loneliness at your level. So 10 seconds extra. Thank you, team.
Thank you very much, Dr. Venkat. The third speaker is going to be Mr. Vladimir Grivou. He is the founder of Tweak.ist. Mr. Vladimir is a dynamic and accomplished senior operations management leader with over 18 years of experience in the business and services industry. Mr. Vladimir, let's talk about how leadership can become surprisingly lonely, even in very large organizations. In your upcoming book, Good Leader, Bad Leader, you touch on something called the illusion of inner circle. Can you please share with us about this illusion of inner circle?
Thanks, Dr. Fares. Thanks, everyone. Yes, the illusion of the inner circle. So I've heard some of you earlier when one of my 4 speakers was on stage raising hands when he was talking about company politics. So we have on one hand the so-called illusion of being isolated and lonely, which is something that happens naturally. But the angle I want to explore today, and it happens specifically in large corporations, is the so-called self-inflicted loneliness, which is a deliberate decision about building walls, building an inner circle of trust, which actually creates this void or this space and detachment of organizational reality between top management and middle management. And using my personal example, back in 2010, I was part of a large organization where our COO was entertaining a poker club. Now, I do imagine you guys think there was a bunch of guys who were united by the passion of poker. Of course, it wasn't. It was a VIP only, invite only club, so-called membership, in which the COO invited the senior leadership and his trusted senior managers. It wasn't about the poker game, although there were also rumors spreading around inside the organization about who won more money or who lost more money. But that was just gossip. It was about being surrounded by people who think like you, talk like you, always say yes, never challenge you, and actually you're surrounding yourself with a world in which you lose actually contact to the organization. That caused, as you can imagine, inside of the organization, gossip, frustration, people feeling discriminated, feeling that the organization leadership is totally detached from reality. Guess what? Later on, the next CEO continued the poker club. So that lasted for another 5 years with the same outcome. The learning out of this, for me, being a large organization, is that politics are not only ruining the corporate communication, the team bond, the atmosphere, the credibility of the organization's leadership in front of its own employees, but it's actually detaching completely the board from the reality on the ground. And while many leaders do have the tendency to say, hey, I have an open door, you can always come to me and walk into my office if you have an issue, we all know it's not like that. So what I would suggest for leadership to make it genuinely, transparently, and responsible is to do the flip game. Actually have the employees have an open door policy, which means the leader walks on the ground and asks the team, is there something I should know? What is going on ground? What can I do for you? Is there something would you do in my shoes? Only like this we can avoid this loneliness which is self-inflicted, right? I mean, we don't need that. I mean, if we can avoid it deliberately, we don't need self-inflicted loneliness. And definitely politics is one aspect that harms this organizational communication and organization a lot. Yes, that's all from my perspective, from my story. More stories like this and obviously learnings in my upcoming book. Thank you for advertising it, Mr. Dr. Fares.
Don't please forget to send me a copy of your book.
Sure.
Thank you. Next we have Ms. Bahar Al-Jamour, Director of Reform and Policy in Kurdistan regional holding companies. Ms. Bahar is a strategy and leadership consultant of impact-driven systems for governance, inclusion, and innovation. Ms. Bahar, has the difficulties in her real journey of women in senior leadership and the professional and social isolation that often comes with it. Could you please, tell us something about why do so many leaders feel isolated even when they are surrounded by teams and influence? And what makes a support network actually effective for leaders beyond just connections and mentors? The floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Dr. Faris, and all the great panelists for sharing all of those great insights. Good afternoon, everybody. So, most of you shared that you are either first generation or second generation founders. And beyond being also founder, being in middle management, being in senior management, there is always an isolation with that. Socially, you don't get time to connect with people, you cannot go out that much, you cannot always have friends that you can keep up with, family members, people at work. And basically, Dr. Venkat talked about, for instance, having consultants at work, having someone to support you in the way you think might help. There is something else which is very problematic for us, especially for women. Most of us are like overachievers. We want to get it right, as Dr. Yvette said. And one of the things that's very, very difficult is opening up to people, especially when they're below you. Because we all like to impress. Who doesn't like to impress? Do you want people to see you vulnerable? No, nobody wants people to see them vulnerable. And we are not all cool with that. Like we just cannot go to our team and say, oh, I failed. You know, it's not a cool thing. We all want to achieve something. We want to be praised for what we do, be seen for what we do. So most of the time, it's not just professionally that we feel lonely, it's also personally. You talk to people around you, they don't understand those problems at work that you are facing. They might also like underestimate it, minimize it, and all of that. One of the things, because as a director where I work with like more than 60, let's say, subsidiaries and companies, sub-companies, and when I meet with them, most of them, they are not as confident as you see them. They all feel vulnerable. They all feel lonely. They all feel like there is something missing, that they are not doing it. And this is pretty much something that we all in a higher position, in a senior position, feel. And that's totally fine, totally okay. One of the things in my current research that Dr. Faris talked about, that I talked to so many women in executive leadership across GCC, one of the things that they really found it useful is having networks at your level, which there is no competition. For instance, you are a founder of a company, you come to this beautiful event, you connect with others, you share vulnerability with someone completely you don't know. They don't know you, they don't judge you, you don't judge them. It's just like you share the experience with them. They might give you guidance, they might actually sympathize with you, and also like create some room for yourself that is beyond your professional network at your corporate or at your organization. So that's something that most of us, we should entertain. This weekend, I was doing yoga on the beach because I don't live in Dubai, but I come frequently. So I was with some friends that they all work in corporates. And everyone was like feeling so vulnerable, so lonely. We were all sharing all of our experiences after the yoga, and that's, for instance, one of the things that we all should be doing. Like, we all should have spare some time to actually connect with people in very similar experience, very similar level of us, that they don't judge us and we don't judge them. And as Dr. Yvette said, asking for help is very crucial. Sometimes asking for help is not just hard. It's actually, like, in so many cultures, especially when you live in Middle East, it's actually a form of like extreme vulnerability. Like, people might explode that condition as well. So sometimes, like, having like professional support, like a therapist, a business coach, a mentor, that they basically are created for that, are created for this type of support, professional support, might be really useful for yourself and your career. And also, be easy on yourself. Like, I have spent nights talking to ChatGPT, like, for hours. What should I do now? I felt so lonely about this. I felt like I'm the only responsible person in this situation, and felt like I have to figure it out. But the reality is not like that. We cannot figure out everything by ourselves. We have to actually, as Dr. Faris in his introduction said, delegate, trust people, even if they don't get it 100%, if they get it 70% right, it's a progress. Sympathize with others so you can be like sympathizing with yourself as well. And thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Next, we have Mr. Sandeep Mandapali, CEO of Svenly Jobs Consultant. Mr. Sandeep is a dynamic leader with deep expertise in operational management, human resources, and industrial services. He was recognized as one of the top 10 Indian business leaders in Saudi Arabia. Mr. Sandeep will discuss responsibility gap, which creates emotional distance between the leader and the team, and trust dynamics between them. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Dr. Faris. I'm just curious to know how many of the leaders are sharing or will be able to share all the information with the teams. That's great, actually. That's great. Because we are going to touch a different topic, like when we are in the leadership position, we deal with secret decisions, crucial information, and everything, which we cannot share with the team or with all the employees. So it creates a responsibility gap between the leader and the team. So this responsibility makes the leader more lonely because he wants to share the information. As a leader, he wants to share the information, but being at a level or being at that position, he cannot share the information. Usually when I go for a board meeting and when I return back, all the team will be waiting for the information. So this information they don't need or they are not curious to know like what is their plan or something. Okay, this information, some people they need to make gossips, some people they need just to have some entertainment for some time. So it's not about having the proper trust with the team. So all the team is not the same. Everybody is not having the same motive what the leader thinks. So if I don't share, or if any leader don't share all the information, so it will create a differences in the team itself. They start to feel like this guy is very close to that person and he's sharing information. Usually, even though we don't share, but it creates a thing like this in the team or in the office or in the company. So to deal with this, actually, to deal with this loneliness or responsibility gap, we should have the trusted people. Okay, the first thing is to choose the trust people who you trust. It doesn't mean that with the trusted people you're sharing everything. You're not going to share everything because it's top level decisions. You will not be sharing it completely, but that trusted team will be given a task. Like in the recent days, I made in my company a team called Operational Excellence Team. Okay, so from each department, we choose some of the employees who is trusted, and they have given this task of sharing a layer of the information which they can share with the teams, so that the teams under them are happy that they got this information. So they will not have a feeling like this leader is away from me. Especially when you're dealing in Middle East, okay, you will face the big problem of cultural differences, because you're dealing with multinational people. And if you belongs to one of the nationality, and you will be branded that you are sharing that information with your nationality. You're not sharing with the locals, or you're not sharing with the other countries. So this is the biggest problem what I faced actually, being in Saudi Arabia for 18 years. So this task has made me like, am I being away? So when I feel like, okay, he's Indian, he's sharing with Indians, so I stopped keeping the Indians away. Then they started branding me as a different nationality. So now he changed it to Saudi Arabians, or he changed it to Philippines, or something like this. So to avoid this, so all these 18 years, all these experiences, what I did is, we made a team, Operational Excellence Team, and they started this information sharing, and it makes you like, that team is going to bridge the gap, the responsibility gap between the employees and the leader actually. So this is one of the way what I did. I don't know, maybe you're more experienced than me, or there are so many people who may have dealt it differently, but this is how I dealt with this. And important thing is like, trust dynamics are very important. You're not going to trust everybody, or you're not going to untrust everybody. So there should be your wiseness, your wisdom should work on that one. No consultant can help you on that one, because the consultant is not knowing your employees more than you. So you're the one who is going to take up that challenge. So this is the main reason where loneliness actually impacts the company. So the responsibility gap should be covered, and they should feel like we are together, we are one. Then the company can flourish. Thank you all.
Thank you. And the last speaker is Mr. Oluwatobi Eden. He is founder and business coach of Eden Enterprises, and he came a long way from Canada to Dubai to, join our panel and the conference, of course. Mr. Toby coaches entrepreneurs, professionals, and students to achieve their next level of growth. A question to you, Toby. What types of networks, peer, industry, advisory, community, personal, tend to provide the greatest long-term value for founders facing leadership isolation?
Thank you, Dr. Fares and the panelists, for your insights. I just want to start by saying that leadership is a journey of self-discovery. And on that journey, in trying to figure out what your story is and where you fit in the world, at times you have to figure it out by yourself. There's no one who can walk that journey for you and connect the dots backwards. And so there is a challenge inherently of who will understand me, who will help me in figuring out who I am. And that journey can be lonely, because first and foremost, like with my experience, I've lived in Nigeria, I was raised in the Netherlands, and then I lived in Canada to study and also to develop my skills professionally. And with that journey of self-discovery, you find there are lots of unique perspectives that you gain from lives that you've encountered and lessons that you've learned along the way. And in tackling that journey, the highest form of value that you can get in terms of support is finding people who are on the horizontal level with you, people who are walking in the same rooms with you, not necessarily people that you bump into and rub shoulders with like you are in the room today, but people who you choose uniquely for the purpose and the value that you want to bring into the world. And a piece of advice that I'd like to share is don't stick with your industry. In a world that we're in where things are becoming more interconnected, things are becoming more complex, there's a need for systems thinking and connecting the dots across different areas for sustainable business long term. So look at diversity, assess and audit your network for people who are adding value and you're adding value to them. And also look at ways that you can strengthen your partnerships, ways that you can build both of your origin stories together, like Gary mentioned earlier. So the journey of leadership is lonely. Yes, you have to find aspects of yourself that are hidden. And I help people, discover that journey within what they've experienced and also identify their strengths and merge it together. So in terms of answering the question that you've raised, Dr. Fires, that horizontal level is key because they can identify with the challenges and the struggles that you're going through. They can also inspire you through the positive learnings and stories that they're building along the way with you. But of course, it's also important to have mentors, people who have been there before, to add that seasoned experience to guide you along the way to where you want to go. And it was such a beautiful story that Gary mentioned with Ashley and himself. That's a key example of what the leadership journey should be. It's where you're pouring into others and others are pouring into you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We have exactly 8 minutes for questions from the audience. So, please. Is everything so clear? Please.
Questions, you can come up.
Yeah.
You can come up to the front, I think.
Come
There'll
to
be a
the
microphone.
microphone here. Okay, give him the microphone there.
Since everyone is clear, I thought I will ask a question. See, what I wanted to understand is, none of you mentioned the reason for loneliness. One reason you gave is, I don't want to share information that I should not. I think in an organization, everyone understands that certain things the CEO cannot share with them. But being non-friendly, being unable to share that pain, that gives extra loneliness. For example, I am a CEO. I may just walk off without even looking at the person. So it is, I feel, I may be wrong, I'm not a person qualified like you, but I feel it is the social behavior of the leader. Number two is, none of you mentioned that many times I have been also lonely. Lonely in the sense, functionally I am lone. I have a team. So what I do is do two things. Play with my grandchildren. Number two is play harmonium or piano. Because that is what gets me off the... Thank you.
Who would like to answer the question?
Yeah. With regard to this responsibility gap, what we discussed, it's not about being authoritative or being secretive, okay? It's about there are some situations, there are some scenarios where people expect that you are going to share everything with them, Okay, this gives a little disappointment and it creates a responsibility gap. This is what we discuss actually. And to cover up this gap or this loneliness, we can discuss in a meeting or with the people or with the team, okay? And we can explain in a such a way that it cannot be shared or it can be shared with you, but in a such a way. And regarding with the loneliness, what you discussed, I think Dr. Bahar, she has already discussed like having some peace and some connections, some mentorships, okay, and paying Mr. Dr. Venkat to get his consultancy. So these are the things actually.
Dr. Rivett, would you like to? Ms.
Sorry.
Bahar.
Well, he mentioned something so important is having hobbies. So this is apart from that helps you to manage your stress. It definitely also helps you to connect with other people. I'll feel less lonely, like going for like a hike with a group, coming to conferences, having like drawings and other activities with people that you can actually, without thinking and having the pressure to impress them and be responsible for everything, engage in those kind of activities. That's an important thing, and I'm very happy that you are playing piano and all of that. I do like drawings, I read books, I go for horseback riding. I do a lot of things as well to feel connected to people, because loneliness, it's not just you feel lonely professionally. It makes you also feel lonely personally because it's an extra pressure. Yeah. Thanks.
Dr. Rivett, as a psychologist, would you comment?
First of all, the question was a very good question. Okay, it's a fantastic question. And of course, the reasons, we have to do a diagnostic study, because every organization will have different reasons for that founder to have loneliness. So that is the first step, finding out the root cause. And like the solution, there is no one size fit all. Similarly, the problem also, the root cause is not one, it is different. Okay, there are many actually. And in my experience, I have seen very different type of erratic reasons and all that. So since that is not a one size fit all type of a thing, so we need to find out on a case to case basis. Thank you.
I just want to add, I love the point which he mentioned, systems engineering. I'm an engineer, love it. You should adopt a systems engineering approach to the problem of loneliness.
Yeah, thank you. Just wanted to add briefly. So typically loneliness starts from within rather than what happens outside of a leader. So being an entrepreneur, there's a chronic sense of burden of performance, right? You want to succeed and you want to make sure that everything is working well in your business. And so at times with that pressure, that internal pressure you feel, you have to get everything right, as Dr. Yvette mentioned, and you neglect those support systems that you have. And that also feeds into your comment about the social behavior. So as leaders, it's important to have those support systems around you, both formal and informal, to make sure that, one, the connection and flow between you and a leader and your team is there and that it's growing. And it's also good to audit and assess that to make sure that things are not, there's no failure point along the way. Thank you.
Excuse me, I wanted to hear your point of view from a psychologist.
Okay. I'll be very brief. So just some of the root causes, but not limited to, and as I said with my own personal experience, I had a very negative association, unresolved trauma associated with being supported. I absolutely evaded it at all cost. Many of my clients that I've worked with in the book that you also mentioned, I worked with over 7,500 clients. And a lot what I learned with people who struggle with loneliness also, loneliness is often an end result also of being very dissociated in life, which comes from a freeze response which can come from our childhood. A lot of people don't realize that they are stuck in that freeze response, and isolation is often used as a boundary because people fail in having healthy boundaries, and the reasons can be endless. Being punishment, it could be The list can go on. And of course, too much responsibility as a child. Oh, I'll do that. Oh, I'll take care of that. I'm loved, I'm appreciated if I do X, Y, Z. And we carry that pattern in various forms into our relationships, into our business, and so forth. I mean, so what I shared was not limited to, but this, I hope that covers some elements. Thank you, Dr.
Thank you very much. Please, sir.
Yeah, I'd like everybody to think 10 years into the future and describe to me your opinion of AI's role in creating a support structure that a CEO or a founder can relate to. And I'd love to hear the good, the bad, and the ugly from the panel.
Well, I don't think it's like 10 years in the future. It already does. I talk to AI every day. So ChatGPT, whether it's ChatGPT, DeepSeek, the other one, sometimes when I don't like the answer of ChatGPT, I go to the other ones as well. So that's the thing. Actually, it's a good tool. Just using it right from now as well. Just don't make it as a substitute of your friends, of your, let's say, the actual physical human support system. Use it an extra tool, use it to guide you. That's gonna support you even more. But if you use ChatGPT or any other AI tool to be the only tool that is your support system, that's, in my perspective, is dangerous because it actually kinda make you lose that real, natural connection with other humans. Because so far, probably in the future, it's gonna get much better. So far, it's although it's humanized, but it still gives you like the perfect answers and perfect way of thinking about your issues, other than being just realistic, joking about it, you know, and sometimes like just sympathizing with you in a natural way. So I believe it's going to be a very good tool. It just wouldn't substitute the other natural humankind connection.
Well, in my perspective, I think the future is about specialization. It's moving away from the classical large language models, the one size fits all, one tool knows all, to a very specialized language model. I started myself building custom GPTs with just a knowledge that is relevant to my field and not just purely prompt inside an LLM, although currently it's sometimes inevitable. I think the only caveat here is that no matter as specialized as it is, it will make our lives even easier and easier, and it's already start doing that. But I remember my parents telling me in the late 2000s, when, you know, the smartphones and everything had started to shape up, that you should start to read more, you stop reading, you read less, you become dumb because you're using too much technology. Now, looking at this statement nowadays, looking at social media and looking at the danger of having AI replacing our thinking process, I think this is just nothing. So it's becoming worse and worse. So the way we use it, no matter how much it helps our lives and will continue to make our life easier. Imagine, just very quickly, imagine AI in the future powered by quantum computing. And we're just like two years ahead. That will become unstoppable and unthinkable. So that's my view.
Thank you. Last question, please.
This panel has been very amazing. So, the thing with this panel is that I was always wondering, you know, how the leadership will be on top, because, you know, I am a first level founder, so I do not have that much mentors. So how I visualized this was people above me, people at my level, and people below me. So preferably, I mean, generally what happens is that people at my level are usually older than me. It's harder for me to connect with them. And people below me are usually team working under me. They're too young to understand, or they just don't care about it. So the perspective which everybody brought in was really amazing, especially the trust level aspect. So my question is very, very, specific, and I'll keep it very brief. When trying to find someone to trust, I know that, morality, because most leaders which I see in my region, they don't care about employees, which I'm trying to fight against. Even my clients don't care about employees, which I try to care about. So morality is really important. Keeping that aside, how do we find our support systems, especially, as, doctor has spoken, trust. So what is the ratio between trust and competence for our support system? Because you have given a figure that 70% of work delegation is really helpful, but finding not below me, because delegation is clear, but in our circle, trying to find co-founders or trying to find mentors, how much is competence the versus trust? How do we differentiate it? Like, what's the most important part here? Because support system, right, it helps us with our loneliness. Anybody can answer.
I don't think I understand.
Okay, so there is already a solution which is being practiced in world-class organizations. Just take a simple example of in a KRA, KPI, PMS exercise, how much percentage of weightage is given to the KRA, KPI results, and how much percentage is given to competencies, behavioral competencies. There is a standard already available globally. So it says that 90% results and 10% competency for junior level, 80%, 20% for the mid-level, and as it goes above, it should be 70-30. So results are 70, behavioral competencies are 30. So this is generally global, big multinational organizations use this. So you can use this as a thumb formula, and then you can see how you can tweak for your organization.
I understand the answer, but this is for employees. But for finding, mentors, or for finding, co-founders or something like that, like, how do we go with it?
Easy formula is
Yes,
find out someone who have already done what you wanted to do.
Credibility and portfolio.
Best.
Thank you for your answer.
Thank you.
And find someone who is smarter than you, because you can learn from him, her, and it will definitely help you up.
I just want to add one more thing, because you said that you find it harder to relate to people that's older than you. All my mentors, I have two that I have now for the past 5 years, and they are actually older than me. And the reason why I love that is that I don't see it as someone that I find maybe hard to relate to, but I see wisdom there.
Yes.
A lot of lived wisdom that you not necessarily can also learn in university, and that sometimes in itself is invaluable. So maybe I invite you to maybe change your perspective if there's maybe an elderly that you feel you connect with, and see the wisdom that can come from that as well.
Sure. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, at the end of our panel, I would like to thank the panelists for their efforts, and thank you, the audience, for your interest and for your questions. Thank you, and that concludes our session.